I was a humble publican, like with a few kids, just enjoying my life. The one morning we woke up and someone had stolen our town. So because they were using racism as a bit of a weapon to stop people speaking, and everyone was genuinely scared about that. Nobody wanted to put their face to it.
Michael, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, good mate. How you going?
Mate, I'm good. It's been a long day. It's hot, but other than that, it's same shit, different day, really, from my end. But you, however, have been you've been all over, God, YouTube, TV, everything, everywhere. For anybody that doesn't recognise your face, tell us what's been going on, mate.
Oh, well, I was a humble publican, like with a few kids, just enjoying my life. The one morning we woke up and someone had stolen our town. So
yes,
yeah,
like that's like, I mean, you don't really hear that statement every day. So tell oh God, tell everybody where you're from and what the news was that you guys heard, like what had been done.
So I'm from TOOBEAH. So I'm the president of the Progress Group, the publican. We own the hotel there. I'm also the postmaster, I suppose, as well, and whatever other role that's got to come into that. So, yeah, we were told there by the council, they put out a resolution where they'd supported a transfer of our 95% of our town to the Bigginbull Aboriginal Corporation. So it was already done when they told the public. It was just the awkward bit of how do we tell a 100% white community that we've given them to an Aboriginal corporation from Brisbane that says it's actually from Stradbroke Island on its website. So a lot of intricacies with it. Obviously none of us ever knew what we were doing. We didn't get the internet until Elon Musk put it up there.
You guys didn't have internet until Starlink?
No, it was terrible. It was terrible. Nothing worked. Like wouldn't have been able to do anything that we're doing now without that.
Wow.
Mobile phone was 2014, so until then they were something that you used when you went to a big town and stuff. So yeah, we just had to figure it all out, learn a lot of stuff about these kind of things, and make a lot of friends.
Oh my God.
It's crazy, eh? We've obviously, like you said, we've been on every thing in the country, like Peter Credlin, Ben Fordham, Gary Hargraves, Ben Dobbin, keep going. There's every one of them, probably 70 or 80 different articles and interviews. And, yeah, I've never done an interview in my life, so I've only...
You got kind of thrust into the spotlight.
Well, I didn't really have a choice because they were using racism as a bit of a weapon to stop people speaking, and everyone was genuinely scared about that. Nobody wanted to put their face to it, so I guess I had to do it. I was the president of the Progress Group, so we had to... Yeah. You wouldn't be very progressive if you let your town go away, would you?
No, so how does that, for a person that, is relatively new to a lot of the intricacies of what our government has been doing, how does a town get handed over the ownership of it without anybody in the town knowing about it?
Oh, it's a beautiful thing. I'll take my hat off to them. It's pretty ballsy what they've done and the way they've done it. But basically, do you remember the pathway to treaty in Queensland, the legislation? So both sides of politics before the Voice agreed to it. They said, like Labor and the Liberals both supported it. They were proud to. So our state member, James Lister, put a big thing up there where he said, I'm proud to support the pathway to treaty on behalf of the people of Southern Downs. So then we had the Voice referendum 3 months later and 85% of our community voted no.
Yep.
And it's just... Now we're just in this funny position here. So 3 months later, they gave TOOBEAH away. There was 15 other towns that were going to go as well. And I guess we've hopefully kicked up a big enough fuss that they might be on the back burner there. We don't know because the government won't speak to us, neither will the council or anyone. But the court of public opinions, we're strongest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
So explain how, because there's a part of this that I don't understand because, and the research that I've done into something like a treaty is it's what you do with like another country.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a country within itself. So like that it's like all these politicians they're happy to say, yes, we support X, Y, Z because there's this backdoor thing that none of us know about during that, we're getting all the shiny, glossy, yes, treaty, it's amazing. We're all going to, fall in love again and everything will be great. But what's coming behind that is shit like this that still doesn't make any sense as to how they can do that and then just show up or let you know that that it's been done. Like, can you imagine that happening to someone like much, much smaller scale? You own a house and someone rocks up from the government and says, oh, sorry, we gave this to the Aboriginals. Get out.
Well, they obviously picked TOOBEAH because there's only 30 people there. It's just one of the smallest towns around. And, yeah, they were confident there off the back of that we just wouldn't be able to form any kind of real resistance. They'd planned to, for some that, and they obviously knew I was probably going to be that because something was going on. We've been screwing around with these guys for years. Different stuff we've been trying to do with development and growing the town. And we don't even have sewerage. We don't have drinking water. We don't have a park or a swing or anything.
And it just kept getting shut down, or?
Yeah, just wouldn't go anywhere. We're getting thrown around. There's just all this bullshit and stuff that was coming out. Remember with the treaty thing, the pathway to treaty, so it's a whole series of events. So, Kevin Rudd, when he apologised, every other aspect that you've seen that was a big national thing from Paul Keating in 94 and onwards.
Yeah.
It was all designed to give this result. So when you see the welcome to country, that's the bit people should be scared about. But everyone's just been so conditioned and taken that so well. Like, that's basically what they do in dictatorships in communist countries, try and reinforce that. Every time you're doing that welcome to country, I know we all want to think it's a nice and peaceful thing, but it's just reminding you that you don't come from here. But that's what it does, and that's the purpose of it.
No, I don't yeah. I'd have to disagree with the general public opinion that of what I see anyway, because it's like from... Geez, it doesn't even matter who it is. There's Aboriginal people like online explaining welcome to country and also talking about how they're sick of it being jammed down your throats. There's one lady that I saw that I commented on it, and she was an Aboriginal lady. She was, I'm gonna say, in her 50s or 60s, something like that, as a ballpark. And she was sitting there going like, we didn't want this. Like, what if we're gonna do something to celebrate before something like, a grand final or whatever? Why don't we honour the Anzacs and just sing the national anthem? Like, we're all from the same place. We're all one mob, or whatever the wording was. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but that's an Aboriginal lady saying that. So she's like, it's just ridiculous now because it's being done. Someone said the other day they had to do it for their Zoom calls when they got onto a work meeting.
Didn't we have a politician do it overseas or something there last year, the year before? It was pretty funny.
I don't know, but it's like that whole thing. It's like nobody is saying that the Aboriginals weren't here before we got it. Before I say we, before settlement, and nobody's saying that what happened in the past wasn't shit, but there's nobody alive today that it happened to, and there's nobody alive today that did it. So it's kind of like at some point we've got to go, stop all the fucking division. We're all Australians. Let's just fucking move forwards. Massively. But when these sort of backdoor deals have been done, and the point I was making with that is it's not being done, in my understanding of what's happening, by the average everyday Aboriginal person who's just living their life. It's being done by these corporations that are twisting and backdoor deal and shit to have someone like yourself who rocks up one day and their town's been given away.
The Aboriginal people love me, like the majority of them love what I'm doing because someone's speaking out, because they don't have a voice either. They've had a hard time. When you're in the bush and you're a black fella, it's a lot different to living in Brisbane. Like, there's people out there that do generally have shit-house lives. There's shit outcomes. There's no opportunities, no work. There's all of these things out there.
Yeah.
But what this industry is doing is using that pain and suffering for financial gain to never help those people. They never are getting any further ahead. So I found that's been a big thing with a lot of the Aboriginal people that have helped us and supported us. They just like, oh, mate, this is awesome. Someone's speaking for us finally. And it's sad, though, that it comes down to a handful of mums and dads from out in the bush to do this, because that's all we are, our organisation. It's just mums and dads. There's no big name to it or anything like that, and we just had to keep going.
So, but you've had a bit of a win though, so you've got to stop to it at some point so far, haven't you?
Not exactly. So what happened? Sort of, yeah, pretty much. But what happened was, so two days before the state elections caretaker mode, this transfer went through of TOOBEAH. So everyone wanted. I asked every single person in the Queensland LNP. I spoke to every single person that was running, had a seat already, anyone that we could, and into the federal and that. And said, look, guys, something's not right with what's going on here. Here's the information that we have. I but we'd really appreciate you guys having a look at it. Anyway, they've rushed it through there before that, and they didn't do anything about it. Our mayor, who's the president of the LNP at the time, he also went into the media just around that period there to try and help this through, like to discredit anything anyone was saying, to obviously take the heat off the transfer.
Yeah.
The whole thing's just been bloody bizarre, yeah. And we get now to a point where the state member, James Lister, who, we asked him at the start to help us, and he said, Michael, I only fight fights I can win. I can't win this one. Well, I actually agree with him because he 100% must have known he was into something a bit bigger than, what was going to be allowed to be changed or spoken about. And the fact that not one of them spoke about it after they'd already said, we're going to pull our support for the pathway to treaty if we win government was even odder. So now where we are with James, he's put out a statement now which basically says the state government lied to the Goondiwindi Regional Council about it all. We don't even know what they lied about because they're not even giving us that full biscuit of information there. But at the end of the day, it's enough to discredit the entire thing from the start because it's built on a lie. So community consultation was the one issue, which was pretty obviously a thing because there was none. Like the community was never consulted. Yeah. So when that Minister of Resources, Scott Shaw, makes his decision, he gets everything in front of him, he's made a decision to give this away to a corporation at the expense of an entire community and made our town 10 acres. So 10 acres, our town is the smallest town in the entire world. There is no other town that you'll find that's 10 acres in size. Yeah, that fact alone should have raised a few concerns. But, yeah, we've just battled on. We've been lucky enough. Pauline Hanson broke this for us, so she got us into the media. Like, we were hitting around everywhere and they were trying to not do it. Like, they were getting a lot of pressure from the LNP and other people to not let this be a story. And, she forced their hand, was really good. And then we had Malcolm Roberts, Jared Rennick, he was really helpful as well.
Yes.
He's really cool. He's a good dude. Who else we had? We had Matt Canavan, Jacinta Price. Probably a couple others there that might have said something. These senators that wrote letters in. We made David Littleproud, who's our federal member. He's wrote something into him, but in secret, like he wouldn't make it public, which was just defeating the purpose of what we were trying to do. Like, mate, we only need to make a bit of noise here and get some support because nobody supports is 85% of your electorate doesn't support it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a hard thing for you to get behind.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just crazy like that. What probably was one of the bigger things we've learnt from this is the grassroots side of it. When you are trying to get people to go and do stuff and, be active and help you out, protest, whatever you've got to do, well, it doesn't really exist with those mainstream sort of politicians with the big conservative names as much to have that kind of clout. So the Libertarian Party was the big thing. Those guys have been sick, eh?
Yeah,
They'll just put people together from every friggin' where and, what are we doing? Let's go do it. And that's been really helpful, so that network of people. And that's what the government and the people pushing this kind of thing are ultimately scared of is the people. They're scared shitless. We've got 22,000 followers there on Facebook, so when we put something out now, it's as big as, an article. Anyone else in the media is really pumping if we get it right.
Yeah.
And that concerns them. They are very, very scared of that because they knew their house was built on nothing. Like it just take a little breeze to knock the whole show over. They were that confident though. And it really is scary because you look at what the government's done there and what they thought they'd get away with. It's massive, hey?
Look, I think they set us up with COVID.
Oh, massive.
They basically, I think that was like a test run for some of it because they were like, well, we'll see what these fuckers will let us do, let us get away with.
Maybe more so. Well, but incompetence as well. Like what I've learnt from these people in the government and the majority of bureaucrats, they're not very intelligent. They don't have critical thinking ability, the majority of them. They don't look at something and think about this. All they think about is their job, how they keep that or how they keep, whoever's put them into that position happy. Like we've got to bring politics back where politicians are immediately accountable to the people that voted them in. That's why we have areas where you live and you vote for that politician. Yeah. And then you can control that politician with the majority's word. Well, that's what it was.
This has come up on here that many times. Like we have the technology now to do things like, whether it be something like your MyGov, through there where you literally log on and you can have a referendum and have 24 hours you can have an answer. And it's like the government seems to be one of the only jobs where it's like you can be a complete fucking retard and don't get fired.
Exactly.
Like, it's nuts. Like it's the only sort of thing that I can think of that is not, you don't keep your job based on performance. And, you know, like if you get in there and then you don't follow through with the things, it's like a job interview when they're running for whatever office they're going for. You sit there and it's like the people are the interviewer, and you're sitting there telling them what you're going to do and how you're going to make things better, like you would any other normal job. And if you get that job and you get in there and you start fucking up, you get fired.
That's what the party system does. It protects that. So what it's done, though, with that individual vote and the scrutiny is spread it across the entire country. So LNP, for example, you know, if that seat there doesn't like this thing but the majority of the other ones do, he won't speak. And you're like, well, that's probably not how this was designed to function, but you're doing that and you get away with it because you get the protection of the brand, etc. How that goes. It's gross. Yeah,
look, Jim said it, Pauline said it as well when they were on. There's a whole issue with if you're on one side and, you know, you hear the opposition say something or propose something that you think's a good idea, you can't even go, yeah, that's a good idea, let's do that. Like, they've got to disagree with it or come up with an alternative or whatever. It needs to be, I think, the system being bought and paid for has, I don't even know that allowed's the right word, has almost mandated the type of personality that we have in these seats. And it's like, they're not doing it well. Like, I don't get why it is that we're still allowing it to happen.
That's a massively accurate statement. Hey, that you've just summed pretty much the whole problem up there. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, like, look, I've brought up Bob Hawke on here a couple of times, and yes, he had some personal demons. You know, drank too much and liked chasing skirt. But you know, as far as in all fairness to them in that time, though, it was a different Australia, you know. But that kind of, like, we were talking about this the other day as well. Like, there's no fucking men left running the country. Like, I think I even said that to you when we were talking. It was like, when was the last time you saw a politician with a beard? Where are the fucking men?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, and that's not taking anything away from the ladies, because Pauline is a fucking force to be reckoned with, and like Jacinta, you know, like, she isn't backwards and coming forwards. Like, she seems like a lot of fun. She'll arc up when she wants to arc up. But as far as like the whole, there's no, and fuck toxic masculinity and all that bullshit, but there's no masculine energy in any of these men. They're these cotton-wooled career politician participation trophy wankers. And
Absolutely.
They're just doing these backyard deals to line their own pockets and facilitate all the shit that they don't want us knowing about. And it's kind of getting to a point that's really sort of starting to piss everybody off.
Massively. When this all kicked off, like, I'm a publican for a fair while, so I've done a lot with people over the years. I've been in fights out the front of the pub, wherever you want to be. I've done everything that I've got to do to try and, you know, run the hotel successfully so everyone's safe and has a good time. And you don't have police out there, so you've got to be able to shut the town down. And, you know, and it's for the benefit of everyone. We run a really good thing. We never have a drama there. So I guess I've got a few skills. When I first went in there to speak to one of the honchos in the council, and, you know, we didn't know much, but we knew enough that if we couldn't access our creek because they wouldn't tell us anything, well, that was going to be a pretty significant problem in how whatever was going on was going on.
Yeah.
And I just said to him straight, I said, mate, if we can't access our creek, it's going to be a big problem. And I want you to understand that I will sail this ship at the reef with the mast fully unfurled. I'm going to fucking come at you, hey. And he shit himself. I've never seen anyone shit themselves like that, like go white, you know, sink back into the ground. And then as it progressed, we forced them to have a meeting. We had 150 people come to TOOBEAH and the whole council, and everyone came out. None of them would speak. They said the mayor speaks for us. And, you know, as we were there, like
150 people came out and one person spoke.
It was insane. Yeah, they're there. He's the one that spoke. So they brought the big and bull with them to this meeting. And we're like, obviously to try and stop anyone talking.
Yeah.
Luckily enough, my missus was smart enough the night before, and we had a bit of discussion. She's like, everyone in the community's probably going to dog us tomorrow, Michael. I was like, yeah, probably right. Then she said, well, let's get some piss out there and get them all on the piss and the barbecue before we go down there. So we've turned up down there with a horde of people, and they just absolutely shit themselves when they seen this mob descending upon there, and just the mannerisms and the nerve and the sweatiness and the awkwardness of them. We didn't even know they'd done anything wrong. But we honestly had no idea what they'd done, because they're telling everyone, it's nothing to do with us, it's native title, it's all this shit.
Wow.
Well, it wasn't. It was the Queensland Aboriginal Land Act, which was controlled by the resolution they passed supporting the transfer in secret that no one in the community had any say in. And so then now be at the point where they've said, well, our decisions are presumably are based off incorrect information. Well, you've just put our community through complete hell for nearly 2 years for that. Like, we have been attacked, like the police have been used to try and silence us in many ways by people. The Bigginbull Cultural Police, which is, there's about 7 of them, they're paid for obviously by the government to do I don't know what, but they've been driving around our town, filming us up and down streets, just trying to intimidate us into silence. Other stuff with the Bigginbull, with lawyers and different things.
See, that's the fucking, like, who pays for that? Who pays them?
We do, the taxpayer.
That's
Yeah, and same with the council, like using that as well, using the legal services to try and silence us, to scare us, to intimidate us. I just had a decision to make, I suppose, early on. Like, what are you going to do, Michael? Are you going to fight these fuckers or what?
Absolutely.
I guess we just had to hold us straight. So we've treated the whole thing as a war because that's exactly what it is, and that's the only way to fight it. So the structured attacks and defensive positions that we've done, we made every single possible complaint you could make to every relevant body, official or anything. So now all of those complaints they obviously, oh no, there's nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. Well, now they're all relevant again because you lied. And we told you this at the start. You had this information at the beginning, but you chose to support this religious movement of which is the Aboriginal industry, basically, over the people of TOOBEAH. Now, their connection to our town, though, and they state this is the scariest bits, 1920 to 1964, our town was created in 1906. Look, it's been under trusteeship, this area that they've taken, for longer than they've been there. It's insane. So the precedent TOOBEAH sets is the scariest bit. Don't worry about TOOBEAH. TOOBEAH is nothing in the scheme of things. It's the first time it's happened. They've never done an Aboriginal Land Act transfer under the Tropic of Capricorn like this.
Yep.
But to give away 95% of a town, lock the community out of the only body of water, which is also man-made. Look, that's a man-made structure of which they weird a river 6 kilometres away to force water into it to fill it. So
when was that done?
Oh, probably back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, I'm not sure. But But TOOBEAH's always had a problem with the water. That's why no one ever lived there originally. So we've got a bore now, even the creek was too shit to keep us going. But all their things to say, like, basically, they call it Turtle Bend, and it's some kind of sacred place. And it's like, it might be, but it's from within the period of time that we exist because you say you come from Stradbroke Island and you say 1920s, this connection. Gaming the system is the whole thing because it's profitable. And that's what they do. And the lawyers are paid for by the federal government. And the council, presumably has to pay its own legal fees. But the issue that we have with the entire Bigginbull determination, which is the federal component, which has nothing to do with TOOBEAH as such, is it's a consent determination. So our council consented to that, again, without the community's input, really, because we were told this started in 2009. They've been screwing around with this stuff. So there are people that benefit from native title, like renewable energy interests, gas, whatever, oil,
wind farms, and
whatever
you're
doing. All that. The council, the state, because they want to talk about state land, they want to expedite that conversation. So the beautiful thing for them for native title is it takes that from 100% of the community down to bugger all. So only 20% of Aboriginal people are represented by Aboriginal corporations. So even the Aboriginal people are getting ripped off. And that's the funny thing about TOOBEAH is because there are people that probably come from that area which aren't the Bigginbull people because they say they're from Stradbroke Island. So the ones that live in Gundawindi and Boggabilla and Toombala, which isn't that far away, you would presume their tribe, the Gomeroi Nation, they probably would be those people. But regardless of that, I think what we've shown in the course of this isn't going to work. You can't take over the whole country.
No.
You can't give it away. Like, you can't make these decisions yourself as a government and say, well, we just feel this will correct some injustice or something. Well, the injustice didn't happen to the people that you're giving it to.
Yeah.
And say if my grandfather died in the Second World War or, whatever your story is, why would yours be any worse than mine?
Yeah,
Why didn't my grandmother get $20 million? The Bigginbull went to court and tried to claim a reparations claim, which would have worked out about $25 million per person that identified as Bigginbull. So that's the really scary bit. And that's without, obviously, then having all of the land and all of the benefits that come from that.
Yeah, you can't reparations don't work because if you give it to one for anything, it sets a precedent for so many other doors to be opened for things like Oh, cheers.
Yeah, you're on.
Fucking,
I'm a publican.
fucking shit. Yeah, you are too. Yeah, there you go. He knows how to crack a
That'll
beer.
be $7.50, mate.
Cheers for coming down, mate. I appreciate it. Yeah, you can't. You cannot have reparations done because one sets a precedent that opens up the door for an ungodly amount of things that will just cripple the country. The fact is, everybody today, now, I agree with what you said. There's some shit spots of Australia that Aboriginal people, white people, all sorts of different people live that are challenging. We'll say that on multiple different levels. But you can leave. And if you can't leave for whatever reason, then that's a whole nother topic. But as far as getting out into Australia, having a crack, getting a job, educating yourself, trying to create a better life, well, everybody has the same fucking group of things that they can attack. Everybody can get off their ass and have a crack at anything. There's nobody alive today, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's nobody alive today that any of that shit in the past happened to, and there is nobody alive today that did any of it. The fact is that, yes, it was shit. Nobody's denying that, but at some point we've got to move forward from it, or it's just going to fucking cripple us.
Massively. Well, what probably, with the people that are probably disadvantaged, it's not. I know it's easy, and I think the same thing. Like, yeah, you can go and get a job, you can get out of it, you can do that, and a lot of them are doing that now. They're getting trades and they're making a name for themselves. But a lot of people are sort of just trapped in that from a period of time because they were put there. They were just all put in this one spot, and who cares what happens? Well, breaking that cycle is obviously a lot harder than what we might think. Like, that's where the money and the encouragement should be, to be trying to get Aboriginal people into boarding schools, get them out of the bush into the city where there's sports, where there's opportunity, where there's schools.
But don't we already have all of that? Why are we giving away land?
It's there to do it, but we don't do it. We not. That's not the focus.
But is it not the focus, or they just don't want to do it? They're happy doing what they're doing.
No, I don't think that there's the real focus on it. And family's a big thing for Aboriginal people as well. When they come from there, that's their family, that's all the people there. A lot of them sort of tell me when they try and get lifted up, there's a lot of other people trying to bring them back down. So as soon as you get a job, etc., people are trying to leech off you. Oh, why are you doing this? Call you coconut, black on the outside, white on the inside, and all that kind of thing. Yeah. So they've got to get through that. And it's a bigger thing than we think. I'm not saying it's anything like they shouldn't be able to do it, because they can. They are. A lot of Aboriginal people are very, very smart about this subject, because I guess that's a big thing that's impacted their life. And that's where I'd be putting the focus. You can drive out to TOOBEAH from Brisbane here in a day trip, 5 hours there and back. If the government went out there and did that, and they go, oh well, maybe we could do something better here. Like they don't. Like, they could see what an Aboriginal community is like from there. Yeah. I just think that's pretty shit in that regard for them to be kept in that, because it's profitable for other people, and that's the only reason. Like, there's $30 billion a year spent on this, and I'm pretty sure it worked out as $850,000 per family that lives in very remote Australia each year. So if you know what I mean, if you can't fix that with that kind of funds in 1 year, it's crazy. Yeah. It's all the other people leeching off it in the city and coming up with this crazy ideas.
But that there is probably the same thing. Remember, we were talking about this with the where you donations. Like, for every $100 that gets donated to X corporation, it's like $70 of that is chewed up in admin fees, and then 30 of it gets sent off to another corporation that then they take 70% of the 30, and you're lucky if a dollar gets to where it was going to go. That $850,000 per family. There has got to be that many hands in that fucking pie before it gets to anybody. Like, this is that bureaucratic bullshit and thievery that needs to be fucking squashed.
Yeah, one of the interesting things with the whole, I guess the pirate ship native title, which is the one that's just destroying everything, it comes from here, like that Brisbane, Stradbroke sort of areas where it's all been created and crafted. So Marbo's obviously off the coast of Queensland. I think the Wick determination thing, it was up north somewhere. All of this has been created here and then forced out upon the rest of the country. Like, Queensland's got such a responsibility for what's happened. You can see Jacinta Allen down there in Victoria now trying to jam through a treaty. I think we worked that out there. They'd already spent $25,000 per Aboriginal family in Victoria on the treaty. That's enough to give a deposit for a frigging house. Like, it's just so stupid. And the way they do it, it's just disgusting watching these politicians use someone else's pain and suffering or their stories from the past that are not nice, like other people's, but using that for what? Who's benefiting from this? This is crazy. Stop
the
doing
fuckers
it.
handling the money, not the people that need it or the people that are fucking paying it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just, it's fucking horseshit.
They've spent enough money now fighting us, the council. So I think they spent about 250 grand nearly fighting us to defend something that's indefensible now where we sit. It's just, it's crazy. Like, and what the government would have spent trying to do this, there'd be millions of dollars spent. Well, that would have been enough to give us sewage and drinking water in TOOBEAH. That'd be amazing. Hey, imagine being able to drink out of a frigging tap or take a crap and never having to deal with it again. It'd be just an exciting thing, but we don't get that in TOOBEAH or Bungunya. There's 2 towns in the Shire that don't have it.
Yeah.
You know, instead of addressing any of those problems, they just gave us away.
Yeah, where does something like that even happen? Like how does that happen? Like, what is it like it makes you think of this kind of, it's after hours kind of in the, by candlelight talking shit, handshake deals and that sort of stuff. But like, how does something like that actually happen?
I think for some people involved in it, it's that gratification they get from thinking that they're helping something or doing this great thing. It's like a sexual perversion. It's really the same thing. They're getting this feeling of gratification. Oh, we're so good. We're doing the right thing. And it's like, no, you're not. Have a think about what you're doing. You're not helping anyone. You're just feeling good and you want to give yourself a pat on the back and go and actually fix some problems then if you want to do something. Like, you're going to put all this energy into this thing that's just pointless. Like, the money wasted on this, Australia would be a completely different place. You imagine what you could have built, what you could have done without this.
How much less debt we'd be in?
Massively. But for our entire government, like every politician in the country to support a concept which says it's going to basically erase Australia and recreate it as a whole series of individual Aboriginal communities is completely crazy. And when you get to our community, we're 100% white, and you're going, how is this supposed to work? Or how would you idiots come up with something like this and think that the people are going to cop it? They were so confident before The Voice that they thought they were going to be able to do this, and The Voice just told them, well, you imagine if they hadn't painted that on planes and gone to all the effort of trying to tell everyone they were racist if they voted no. I reckon 85 to 90% of people probably would have voted no, because the only people completely crazy in the country at the end of the day are probably the Greens. Like, and even some of them can see how stupid it is.
Yeah, well, that's not exactly up for debate, is it? They're fucking bunch of bloody run by a bunch of morons. So what was the plan, though? What were they, like, you've got this corporation that's based in Brisbane that's trying to get their hands on the ownership of your property, which is 5 hours away.
We're town.
Yeah, your town, based on a group of people that identify from being from Stradbroke. What the fuck were they going to do?
It's a land back precedent of treaty. So they're setting the land back. So land back is a concept within the treaty thing.
Yeah, but what were they going to do with it?
It didn't matter. It was a precedent more so than anything to set the precedent for TOOBEAH. So then when you go to court in future determinations and stuff, you can show this thing. Well, we gave 95% of that town away. It's like any other thing would be pretty simple. That wasn't quite as aggressive. But it gave them a platform to work from, see what kind of public reaction there'd be to it, etc. And
so they picked on
the smallest
place they could.
Massively. And there's a lot of, we're the richest spot in the Shire with gross family income as well. But that's because, there's a lot of big farms and people out there on places and that. No one was ever going to have the time to fight this. But this, we didn't know. No one would have known that at the time. But, seeing where it's got to now, it's...
Absolutely.
They picked a good spot. The only thing they didn't account for was our progress group, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, especially like the way you set it up for that day meeting, like the last thing you want to do is give a bunch of country people a belly full of piss. They're not going to let much go by.
We've had some pretty interesting times. A lot of people have made a lot of statements and said a lot of things and done a lot of stuff that they probably sit back after they've done it and not really know why they did it or what we did to make them do it. But we've had heaps, thousands of people helping us and doing their little bits and pieces. Like, I wouldn't be exaggerating to say tens of thousands of people have come and seen me personally, rang the hotel, rang me, emailed me. Everyone says they don't care what the story's about, anything. They're like, just keep fighting. Do not stop fighting under any circumstances.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like, it's all old people too, and mums and dads.
Yeah.
That march in Brisbane was on the 31st. It just showed it. Like, man, there was people there. There was Zimmer frames. There was everyone there. Every colour, nationality. Everyone was there.
Yep.
So they've all had enough.
Well, that's the thing is that I think the 99.9% of them that were there for the right reasons.
Massive.
It was only the handful of dickheads that showed up trying to stir shit that
I
caused any
don't know that
dramas.
they necessarily showed up as much as they were wanted to be there by the media. So
True.
what we found at that protest, I actually spoke at it. So we were down there in that, that, what do you call it, the auditorium or whatever it is there.
Yep.
Well, that thing was getting a bit full, and I'm going, oh, geez, there's a few people here.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I was just going to go up the top, see what's going on. I went up there, and the Aboriginal and the Palestinian activists, because naturally they've joined forces for some unknown reason.
Right.
They're there with the media set up all around them. The only problem was too many people turned up, and they were surrounded by Aboriginal flags, and it all went to shit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the NSN guys that were there to do the same thing, they were stuck because the crowd was so big. They were stuck down at the bottom of the auditorium. They couldn't really get there. And the next minute, this march has kicked off. And I've never seen anything like it in my life. If there wasn't 50,000 people, I'd be very surprised. Like, all you could see was Australian flags every direction. It seemed like every street you came to, it got thicker and thicker, and like it was insane. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Well, it was, we had this conversation with Ruthie last week. It was like we had a couple of chats and a couple of opportunities to go, and my drama with it was the first thing I heard was we were marching to not stop immigration, but just to go, how about we just fucking take a minute and work out what the fuck's going on? Because there's a whole shit ton of people coming in. Nothing to do with race, just a mathematical fucking woo up for a second. And then someone else, and I was all for that. And someone else said it was, no, this is about stopping immigration altogether. And I went, well, fuck, if that's what some people are thinking that it is, I don't want to be involved in that because I'm all for immigration. I said this when we had Pauline on, like, you cannot have a place this cool and not expect people to want to come.
Oh, massively.
Absolutely. But I have a problem with some of it. I have a problem with some of how it's handled. I have a problem with people coming over here and trying to fuck with what we've got going on and change things. But as far as any of that goes, I was like, look, if that was about just getting our word out there, our point across to say, just take a fucking breath. Let's look at this literally just logical, mathematical for a minute. We've got Australians, citizens, people that already live here that are struggling, and you're bringing in 180,000 or something a month. How much? What is it? Do you know what it is? What the actual numbers are?
Colossal bloody. Wasn't it 1,500 people a day or something?
Something like that.
It was like one of the things getting around.
Yeah, you've already got people here. That's like having a dog that's fucking sitting on the ground starving that you've had for forever, and you go and feed the neighbour's dog. You invite them in, feed them, and tell your dog to get fucked.
Well, you've got 120,000 people homeless in Australia, sleeping under bridges and
there you go.
Stuff like that. Like, that's a thing that you've got there already. I think I don't know, by the end of the decade, I can't remember exactly, but there was a massive amount of people that won't have a house. So our shortage of houses in Australia would be insane. That's what the immigration side of it was. It was about sensible immigration. But what the boys had to do is not really say too much, because obviously the media and politics was trying to completely shut the whole thing down. So they asked me to speak the night before of it.
Yeah.
Those boys, man, they can organise some stuff. Like, it was perfect, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a couple libertarian fellas there as well. And Scott Shallon, he's who you want to get on here. He's pretty cool. He's right into all of that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, their effort was mad. I think they got another one on the 18th or 19th, and hopefully it'll be as good. Like, you seen what happened in London on Saturday.
That was massive.
Millions, man.
Yeah. Those streets
good.
were... Did you see that? The streets were
7
just
hours
shockers.
that went for. Everyone stood there, and I watched the whole thing. It was one of the best things I've ever watched. It was great.
Yeah. I don't know that... And I said this in the comments on one of the social media pages I saw it. We're not that far off it here. Because people are just starting to see all of the holes in our government, and whether they're a genuine hole in something that we're missing, or whether it's been covered up, or we're being lied to, or it's been manipulated, or whatever the case may be, or they're just fucking incompetent. Like,
Absolutely.
It's gonna come to a point, but I don't think, like, did Do you see the MAGA thing for Australia? The MAGA, the MAGA hat? Someone had it on and said, "Make Albo go away." I thought that was clever.
Albo's a wanker was one of the biggest calls in that crowd, hey? It was insane. It just went on forever. It was great.
Yeah, but then you've got these nut jobs like that fucking Abby knob. Who's that bird that was on one of them stupid shows?
Oh, Chatterfield. Oh wow. That was disgusting.
Lord, shut her up. But there's I don't understand why some people get onto this train of whether they're just trying to get the clout or stir shit because they know this will get them views or whatever the case may be. It's like, I don't understand. Like, where's the fucking logic gone? Where is the part of the people that run this country? Where is their logic gone? Where they go, this shit is just not working. Like, we are going to, wasn't he chased? Albo was chased with the tractors the other day, wasn't he?
Oh, that was brilliant down in Victoria.
I know. That was great.
I've got some mates down there that have been
That's fucking gold.
they've been very militant with the power line stuff and those protests. They actually, remember when they took the fire trucks all in there and just left them and went home? They literally took a whole heap of rural fire service trucks into Melbourne and just parked them all over the place over train lines and stuff, and boys just went down the pub, got on the piss, and then caught public transport home. It was brilliant. Hey, the Victorians, as much as we give them a hard time, they're actually having a go. Like in Queensland, we are still hiding under the bed. Those guys know how serious it is because they're living in a communist country down there. Look.
Yeah, look, as much geez, I pay them out for the soy latte orders and whatever else that they're doing down there, but they are definitely more feet on the ground for a lot of it. So it makes sense that they're leading the charge to change, but I just think that where we're at now is it's just an overcorrection on this, everything that was woke, everything that, people wanted to stay politically correct and they didn't want to rock the boat. And there is a certain Aussie mentality of, fuck, it'll be right, we'll just keep going, it'll work itself out. But I think we're coming to the end of our tolerance of all of that.
Oh, massive. It's low testosterone. It was dead set one of the things because men used to have enough pride in them to stick up for that. Most of the people fighting and helping us are women, mums. Yeah. But they're the one, they've got more balls than anyone at the moment. It's and that's hats off to them because we screwed without them, but where's the men?
Absolutely.
Come on, boys, get out and fight, eh?
Look, that's what I mean. Like the whole parliament side of it, we need... I'm not educated enough on the inner workings of Parliament to give a specific dot point on what we need. But what we don't need is these career politician participation trophy fucking pansies in there running it for us and doing stuff that is not helping.
Yeah.
The government was designed to be a voice for the people. Like, we haven't had a say in 90% of the shit that's gone on in the last 50 years.
Well, the one say we've actually had on anything was The Voice, and we said the wrong thing. They didn't like what we said.
And then they went against it anyway.
Well, they're trying their hardest to, but I just don't think the people of Australia, as people understand how serious this is and the cost of this, like the Aboriginal industry, not the Aboriginal people, the industry is the CFMEU of our entire life. It will make everything more expensive for everybody. It will fight every kind of title, lease, whatever. There will be these constant conversations and battles until it gets everything because that's what it says it wants to do. This isn't made in Australia, though. You've got to understand that this is happening in Canada, America, New Zealand. It's actually happening in countries all over South America, everywhere. It's from the United Nations. It's called the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, one component of it. And I think it started even earlier there back in the 70s, however it all sort of gradually comes in, then other things meet it here and there. But basically it's all voluntary. We just volunteer to do this. Now they can threaten us though with trade, with other restrictions, et cetera, like that as a block, like the United Nations. And everyone's just got to this point where they just do as they're told and they go on with this stuff. But when it's directly going to destroy your country, like renewable energy has, renewable energy is the stupidest thing that's ever existed. You get a calculator out and you can say that that's not a good idea because it ends our country. So the idea of what they were doing was trying to, transfer wealth from Western countries back into, China and other developing nations. Like,
Yeah.
and we're just doing this at our own peril. Like, you think we export obviously coal, gas, and we have the highest prices in the world for energy. That makes no sense.
Nope.
At all. And everything that they've done there is just crazy to destroy us. Like getting rid of our manufacturing base to put that into Canada. And I'm pretty sure that's what that Lima Declaration was about in the 70s there, was, setting that up. Crazy. Like, we won the freaking Second World War, I thought. Now I'm starting to question whether we did. It's like, what's happened here?
No, I agree. I think there was we need to start fact checking some of this stuff too, because I think there was something I was reading online where we are giving away the gas.
Oh, it's 100% credible. There's a dude doing that. Oh, what's his name? He's unreal. A blonde-looking fella. He might be a bit of a lefty too, but he's on the right track with that.
Yeah.
See, the coal thing, we don't actually have to dig any more coal. We just need to burn more. We've got the coal going on boats. Ample amount of it to make our power a third the price of what it is now.
It's not
simple.
It's not just that. Like, I don't know how quickly you're going to be able to find this, because it took me a little bit of digging. But if you can search up how much, what did I finally do? How much fossil fuels did Australia export in 24? I did this not that long ago, and then you want to find how many residential addresses there are in Australia, and then you want to find the average electricity bill for a residential address in Australia. Now, when he finds all this, we'll clarify it all. But there was something in the order, because we're not taxing the export.
No, they're just giving it away.
Yeah. So there's a private company that's got a lease on the land that they're paying, I'm going to suggest, probably a decent amount of money. And they're mining the land and selling that product. But the land is owned by Australia, not Albo or any individual that's agreeing to the stuff. It's owned by Australia. And you might turn around and say, well, that goes towards the government funding for this, that, and whatever else. But the flip side of that is just the export. You find it?
Yeah, what was the third one?
The median residential electricity bill in Australia. They're not taxing any of the stuff, so we're not getting anything direct from it.
That's what globalization's all about. So what they do is turn countries like ours into a farm for the rest of the world. So we'll give them these bits and that bits. They all go make the profit stuff. Like, how insane is it that we import solar panels, we import the wind turbines, we import all of that crap to then put it up there to then make our power more expensive, while we also sell power straight out that's cheap.
Yeah.
It's insane. Mate, how you can run a country on that, and every side of politics thinks that's a good thing is crazy.
Well, I was looking at something it was either this morning or yesterday afternoon about the net zero for Australia. We're already, with our forests and everywhere that we've got in Australia, we actually, on the carbon absorption, we're already there.
Yeah.
On what we produce, Australia is already net zero.
So we're actually used to offset carbon for other countries. So
there you go.
The 30 by 30, 2030 or 30 by 30 they call it, or something. And basically it's want to have 30% of Australia locked up by then. Yeah. So you'll see a lot of farmers out west and stuff have done carbon capture stuff where they do stuff with the mulga and this and that, and they don't farm it. Well, the worry with that is at the end of when it's run its course, they're most likely going to become national parks because you can't reuse those. So for communities and stuff that rely off those farms and things existing, it's a detriment to them. It's the same as when we lose water out of our river. So our area's lost 64%, I think, of its irrigation water with the Murray-Darling thing. That's taken from our community, put in the river to go down there. So South Australia put it in the ocean because South Australia doesn't manage its water network correctly. Like, it did a whole heap of things with barrages and other stupid stuff that they did. Yeah. And then they're going to blame the rest of the country. And where that's stupid in Queensland, we're just going to give it away. So you imagine if our community had 64% more water, how much more prosperous we, how many more doctors, nurses, teachers, roads, bridges.
Yeah.
Like, everything's been done to destroy us because nobody wants to have an argument with anyone. They're too scared.
Yeah, I don't get it. All right, what do you got here? Okay, so 113 billion in coal and billions more in natural gas. Right. Okay. Cool. So, and how many residential addresses are there in Australia? All right, 10.9 million. So, what about the average electricity bill like for residential? Because businesses is a bit different, but residential electricity is kind of what I was getting at last time.
What's the royalties off that figure too? Would be interesting, I suppose.
Well, yeah, there's that too. So, $2,000 is a standard customer. Victoria may be lower. Okay, so to 2,143 is the average price. I think that's fucking low.
Monthly. It's saying.
No, annual. Annual DMO reference bill is approximately.
Oh, I'm looking at the top.
Yeah, no, that's only 125. So.
Oh, yeah,
2143. So do the 10 million, whatever, 100 to 10 million, 10.9 million times 2,143.
You need to use ChatGPT. It's fucking way easier than this.
Yeah, I know, but it worries me with what it's going to serve up.
If you keep using it and use it all the time for your research, it actually remembers all of your stuff. It's friggin' awesome, eh? So when you want to pull your things up quicker,
yeah,
it'll think back to everything that you've looked at.
All right, so what's that? 233 billion, 587 million. No, that's not right. 23 billion, 358 million, 700,000. 233, 58, 7, and 5 zeros. Yeah, it's 23 billion, 358 million, $700,000. And how much did we export? Where was that? How much did we make on exports?
100 and something. What was it?
113 billion and billions more in natural gas. And we don't tax those exports. So if you had, so how much was that?
Yeah, it's forecast to reach 459 billion. That's from back in 2023. So you got the AI overview of that.
Right. So 459 billion. And how much was that total before, Shawnee? 23 billion. So 10% of 453 billion would be 45 billion, which is basically double that. So if you just put 5% tax on those exports, nobody in Australia would have an electricity bill.
It's crazy.
Isn't that fucked up? And we're giving it away for free.
It's scary, eh?
First of all, the electricity bills should be lower than what they are because of our fucking government's dodgy as. But if you just taxed that 400 and whatever billion dollars at 5%, nobody would even have an electricity bill.
Who's making the money from the renewable energy rollout? Like someone's making considerable amount of money of that, and at the same time they're putting the price of everything up.
Yeah, it's the same fucking backyard, after hours, dodgy deals that are. This was the same concept or thought process or mentality of what gave your town away.
The positive thing about climate change is it shows us how we can take the power back in reverse. So everything that they did, every way that they manipulated us, every story, every fear campaign, etc., that's how they did this. They conditioned us to just cop it. Oh, the world's going to end. So you notice this week they put out another thing, the world was going to end. Chris Bowen or his boys there, it's going to get hot, all this crap's going to go on. But at the exact same time, Andrew Hastie's put up his hat and said, well, if you don't dump net zero, Liberal Party, I'm going to jump off the front bench. And then I think he said he'd resign at the next election or something. So, what were they trying to do there? They know Andrew Hastie's going to be very popular. And he's got really popular friends like Jacinta and Kenovan. And pretty much anyone that's popular in politics is a friend with Andrew Hastie in Conservative politics. So they're scared of the people ever having that representation and the ability to speak, eh?
Look, absolutely, because they've been pushing us around and backdoor dealing us for so long. It's just part of what they do now. And, like the same thing that just happened with your town. It's like those deals, they're just expecting us to roll over. You know,
The best thing with TOOBEAH is why it's so good and why it's so important is they did such a terrible job of it. Like everything that they did's just shit house. So when it's unwound, inevitably, and it will be, and when it's investigated right back to the end, it'll be the end of not just native title in that kind of aggressive form, but it will show us how they did a lot of other things and how they all interlink, because native title is tied in with the renewable energy rollout and any other form. It's the same, act as the same people using fear and intimidation to silence any opposition.
It's like they're still in the mentality that they were in the 90s when we didn't have internet, when they could just talk shit and the news was bought and paid for, so they were backed up there for the most part.
Well, it still is, but now the people have a voice.
Well, because there's so much more access to information than just 6 o'clock on Monday night.
Mate, social media and people just like you.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like there's people all over the world doing this same thing. Yeah. I think for activism, AI has been incredible. So, if you know what your problem is, you know everything about it, but you don't really know how to put that into words that people will understand, or, to zero it in and learn more, well, that enables everybody to do that. And that probably scares them as well. Like, how are they going to get their handle over that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can draft a legal letter, that would normally cost thousands of dollars and scare the crap out of you in 15 seconds. Like, yeah, that's the reality of it when you know what you're doing with it. But if you're dumb, you're still dumb. Like, it's not going to make you smart or give you the right answer. I just think it's very lucky that it came at this time.
Look, the internet, everybody's sharing of information, like another one that I watched last week on just the way the Earth rotates and the tilt, the axis changes a little bit, is 99.9% of what changes the temperature. And the fact that the NASA released its thing saying like the Earth is as green as it's ever been, if not more so.
Well, at one point, I'm pretty sure where we are in TOOBEAH and a fair portion of Australia was under the ocean. So
there you go. There you go.
What caused that?
This is what I mean. It's just natural
fear mongering, and it's just silly. And the fact we've gone, and it was started when it was first started. It was called global warming. Yeah. But then it started getting a bit cooler, so it became climate change. And then every cyclone, everything that happened, it was put to that. No, we'll scare people. Like, you're going to die in 100 years anyway, guys. Like, you literally are, and you're going to live every day in fear of something that's not going to happen, because if you sit back and look at it, it's that outrageous. Yeah. It's just crazy. And it is. It really is crazy. And a royal commission into that, to whatever's happened there, has to happen inevitably. And the same as COVID. Like, people have to be held to account for stuff they did. I'm very, you're disappointed, though, in people within government departments, even the police and stuff. At some point, you've got to go, am I actually a human? I've got to say something. Look, they've got unions. They've got the ability to fight things as well and boycott stuff and protest. But where are they? Where's the teachers? They're going to start teaching our kids all this weird stuff with Aboriginals. Like, our kids are going to be taught they're on stolen land in kindergarten. That's what they're suggesting in Victoria. Like, you are getting into their minds literally like communism did.
Yeah, I think that'll shift too, though, because it was like that whole trans thing that they tried to jam down people's throats and taking very young children and putting them on some one way or another hormone blockers. Like that whole woke
child abuse.
It is. There's no other word for it. But that whole woke mentality. Pardon me. The con that they did with COVID, the litter boxes in schools for these other idiots. That is going to come to an abrupt fucking end.
Massively.
Pretty soon.
When you treat a mental health illness and you're just treating it as a mainstream thing that everyone should be a part of, it's not. It's really, really silly to do that. And doing that to kids is evil. Like, that's a crime.
It is.
And that should be prosecuted as one. And those schools, the teachers and the people implementing that need to have a real good look at themselves, because it's going to end. We're going to come for you. The people are going to come for you, and it'll be over. So do the right thing, because it's on you. It's everything's voluntary. You don't have to do these things.
No, they don't, and it's that tribal mentality. People want to get on the bandwagon for whatever the latest thing is, and the government is like, they're so focused on everything that's not fucking important, like the youth crime stuff. You know, the penalties for, you know, whether it's things like a break and enter or right the way through to like murder and stuff like that. This country's a joke as far as its penalties for it. Like, you need to be. They want a shift in the mentality that people have towards our country and our government and stuff like that. It needs to start with stuff like punishment, because they're letting these kids walk out the door. Oh yeah, no, next time on bail or whatever. Yeah, and they'll go and do shit again, and there's no. I mean, this idiot thing with these knife, the machete bins.
Oh god,
like that thing too. Like,
that's a ripper.
They just need to stop being fucking retarded and go. I mean, we can't have capital punishment because of whatever we're involved with the UN or something like that. Okay, fine. You can't knock them off, but make it something like, if you take a life, that's it. You're done. Like, I think they should, like with Charlie Kirk, what's just happened with him, they're going for the death penalty and that. I hope they fucking get it. Like that sort of, whether it's a political thing or, you know, a interpersonal relationship thing, and it's, you know, just rage motivated or whatever. You kill someone, that's it. It's just, you're done.
Yeah. Well, we once had, you know, and I'm not a religious person, but we once had a book with some morals in it. So obviously at some point in history, people were that stupid they needed 10 commandments written out to follow. Like, if you think about it from that context, it's like, maybe that was a good thing, because none of this shit was happening back in the days when people were going to church, like it or not. That instilled morals, instilled fear in the community, because you didn't want to be ostracised from your church. You didn't want other people looking down on you, thinking you're bad. It made people that did bad things highlighted. Whereas now there's no consequence. People have lost any respect for their family. When they go out, they're not representing anything. No. They don't care about their legacy of where they come from. Yeah. I was, luckily enough, me and my family were raised by really good parents that instilled a lot in us. And like, being able to fight this right now is like, probably comes from that, from my dad and my mum. But, you know, my dad really being solid with, you know, just fight. Yeah. Like, all he did was he just fought. If he had to fight, he'd fight. Yeah. Never back down, never be scared, and just go for it and back yourself. And that's, he told me, every time you're going out, you're representing your family name. Yeah. And that was an important thing to me, and I never wanted to bring any undue shame to that, as much as I probably did at plenty of times. But it's like, I'm sure you had it in the back of the head every time. You're, oh shit, Dad's going to tell me that.
There's two things in life that keep people on the right track, and it's either your own moral compass, wherever that's come from, or fear. And clearly, the moral compass of some of the youth of today and people that are out doing dumb shit is way off track. Definitely. So the only thing left is fear. And the only thing that you can have any kind of fear instilled in these fuckers with is what the punishment's going to be. Now, okay, we can't knock them off, fine, but it's like something needs to change in that regard, because they just don't care.
Yeah, massively. And I really do hope that it gets that way. I guess, you know, you can feel for people's families and stuff and this and that. And, you know, if that was your kids or your cousins, you'd be sad and want to see them not suffer forever. But I don't know, to break the cycle, I think you're right. Something pretty drastic is going to happen. You don't have to bring morals back in. But if you're watching politicians and people sell us out every day, well, you've got no one that you're following. Like, people are trying to make people follow sports stars as if they're some kind of example on how to be as a human. What the hell do they know?
There needs to be some fucking standards set if we want something to change. You know, like, and it comes from the top. Whether it's backdoor deals like giving away a town, or the weakest piss punishment for doing the wrong thing, that's where that changes. You make the punishment just unthinkable. You watch the crime fucking slow down. There's still going to be some dickhead that'll get high on something and go off their head and whatever, but it's going to reduce.
Mate, every time they're stealing a tradies ute and their tools, those kind of actions are way more significant than what they think they are. Like, they are hurting people's lives. They're hurting their ability to feed their family. And what's the punishment for it? Oh, he just stole a car. No, he didn't. He just destroyed that person's life. Yeah. That's what you did. When you kick a motel door in, like's happened in Gundawindi go in there and rob some poor old tourist travelling through town. Like, what's that do for our community?
Yeah.
We've got a cross-border commissioner out there. I don't know. Someone said he was getting paid $500,000 a year, and the crime's still going. Like, what's he doing? The whole thing's just bizarre, and it really is silly. Like our issue, that's the United Nations that pushes those soft on crime concepts into governments.
It's horseshit.
Look at Britain. It's the same. They had to hold a protest with nearly 3 million people there so they could tell their politicians that, we're getting raped by people. Like, these are 2 or 3 women were up on the stage there that had been raped by these grooming gangs, and the government covered it up.
Yeah.
And the government doesn't say they didn't.
Yeah.
Like, they literally did. You've had to get Elon Musk and America to help you hold this protest.
Yeah.
So you can go and tell that to them people and say, look, this isn't right, and we've got to talk about it and not do it.
Yeah.
Like, you're changing entire communities and cultures like that. And I think that was probably one of the things where people with immigration, probably can generally, get very angry. Like, I just know my grandmother was in Lakemba in Sydney.
Okay.
So, when she would have got there, it would have just been like the rest of Australia. By the end of it, it was full of, like, obviously loaded with Lebanese people and stuff like that, with different cultures, different religions, and, it got a bit more dangerous. And you could probably see how people would come to an opinion like that in that sense. And I don't, like, that kind of thing isn't great for Australia. Like, immigration should be, getting people out there, getting them into the community. If you walk into my hotel, you can be from anywhere. You don't have to speak English. People love you. They'll talk to you. They'll try and do stuff. Someone will take you out on a farm the next day. Like, it's amazing. We're so cool like that. And when you spread that through the country, if you bring people in from these different cultures and they get embedded in that, it'll take them 2 days. They'll be like, this is great. I just want to be an Australian.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, but and that's my whole thing. I got no drama with anybody wanting to come here. But don't come here and try and fucking change stuff. Because there's a reason that you want to come here. And if your reason is because we're, the government's a bit of a pushover and you can come and push your own agenda, fuck right off.
Massively.
The other side of the coin is there's a Lebanese culture in certain parts of Sydney and stuff. Sure. But that's like, okay, that just means this is a couple of corners of awesome food. It's like...
And some good footy players.
That's right. But the thing with all of that is that whether it's, like you mentioned before, it's like, that some parts got a bit more dangerous and whatever else. There's always going to be the potential for personality clashes because of different cultures and stuff like that. But that all comes back to, you take any violent crime and quadruple the punishment and watch it fucking go away.
I think the statistics on Islamic people coming to Australia as immigrants and getting on welfare, there's some kind of pretty solid amount of them above the average, if you get what I mean, that aren't working in with the culture so much, so sort of gaming it through. And, as a country, you've got the ability to decide who comes here. Like, you do, and that's a fair thing.
But that's also a stopping point of going, why are you on welfare?
Well,
you're not a citizen.
But if you bring in 100,000 people and, a ridiculous proportion of people from that country end up not being overly productive, well, you'd be looking, going, righto, what can we do to help these people be productive? Or, do we have to look at how we're immigrating, where people are coming from? To say that we have to have some kind of broad blanket, it's just crazy. Like, there's so many people coming out backpacking. We've employed backpackers for 30 years out there. Yeah. And, so many of them want to stay in the country. They come out, work in the bush for years. Yeah. And then they got to get home. They can't stay. They can't find any way.
But that's somebody who's following the rules.
Well, they've done 2 years in the bush helping Australia. But other people don't want to work there. They don't want to do the jobs. And you're going to make it impossible for them to stay. Like, it's just silly. It really is.
Yeah, but the first part of that is like settling, welfare, whatever people want to call it. It's like there is no reason that somebody coming to Australia can show up with, on their own or with a family, whatever, no job, no prospects, no money, and expect to have a free ride. Like, fuck off. Yeah. Like, I don't care where you're from. I don't give you fucking American, Irish, fucking Chinese. Like, it doesn't matter. It's like you cannot show up somewhere and put your fucking hand out. Like, you haven't earned that.
Well, it's just silly as a country that could even happen. Like, that's what I'm saying with these people backpacking, the means test on them, you'd look at them and go, geez, that'd be great for Australia. These guys don't have any kids. They're just going to work. They're going to pay tax. They're going to be profitable to the country. Like, that's a great investment. And they want to live
Absolutely.
out in the middle of nowhere. They don't want to live in Brisbane, Sydney or Melbourne. They're happy with this life, but then there's no pathway for them because they didn't go to some school and get some dodgy chefing degree or something or whatever they do to try and stay in the country. It's like, I'd do the same thing if I was anyone else. Mate, if I was an Aboriginal person, I'd probably scam the system too because it's so easy to do it, like with the corporation stuff. But yeah, it's not good for the country.
No, the whole system needs an overhaul.
Massively.
The Centrelink, and this is for fucking. There's that many different there's Aussies taking advantage of it. Like, I mean, the system, the two-party system, and almost everything that goes with it is what needs to change. Because changing the dude sitting in the chair isn't going to change shit. Because everybody following him for probably the next 4 or 5 steps is already a career politician anyway. It needs somebody that's that's come from grassroots, that's been a mechanic, a sheet metal guy, a wharfie, like whatever, somebody that's had some real life experience that understands what these things that they're trying to implement is going to have as an ongoing effect.
I even think like 20, 30, even 40-year-old politicians. Man, I'm 39. What do I know?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like there's people in their 50s, 60s that have been through a lot more in their life than what we have, and they've got a lot more ability and skill to give the world. Like that's how it's crazy. It's some kind of nepotism thing where you just toe the line in the party and eventually we'll let you in there because you haven't rocked the boat and we know we've got control of you and you won't say anything.
Yeah. But that's the thing. By the time you've worked your way through to get to a point where you're in a position where you're likely to run for something, you're probably already in so much debt to so many different people. You don't have your own opinions anymore.
No,
so that's, somebody from the outside sector coming in to actually do something and give the people a person and that person's values and goals and ideals, give us that to vote for, not a party, not this preferential bullshit. Like, I keep bringing him up, like fucking Mark Boris and guys like that. That dude is not going to go, if he ever steps into politics, he sure as fuck isn't doing it for the money. He would be the sort of personality, and people like him would be the sort of personality that go, this is fucked, and I can potentially do something about it.
Well, you had one of the most honest dudes on here the other day, Jim Wilmot.
Oh, Jim,
Mate,
yeah.
They're the kind of people you want. They know the government system. They've been involved in it through his work with DPI and all sorts of other stuff like that. But then to be a businessman, a parent, hooking in doing that, they've got a lot to offer.
Yeah.
For the everyday people, for the majority. Preferential voting is just completely stupid. I don't even know if there's too many countries that do it. There'll only be a handful. And forcing people to vote, regardless of the fact that the fines bugger all or whatever. I think 2 countries might do that.
Yeah.
Our system's structured to not give the people a say. It's crazy.
No, and once they're in, it's almost like anything. We have the technology to do basically a referendum on fucking anything.
Oh, easy.
We're thinking about doing this. What do you think? Within 24 hours, you've got your answer.
I think the media, though, until there's some control over that, a simple probably concept to work with if you're going to fix politics and everything is just don't lie. And if you're lying, don't do it. Like that, people really need. You can't be putting out these crazy opinions that are going this way, that way, and treating it as fact. Like you are lying to people. People aren't smart enough to understand everything that you're saying, but they're taking advice from you when you speak, and you're lying to them. That's the biggest thing, and no one calls them out. Like with the TOOBEAH situation, the fact that not one politician in Queensland, Stephen Andrews, he was the member for Marani up north. He actually spoke out for us. So he put a question on notice, and that's how we found out about the 15-town situation.
Yeah.
So he was a One Nation candidate, and then One Nation speared him before the election, and now they have no candidates in the Queensland Parliament, which is disappointing. Like that obviously wasn't good for anyone like us to try to fight or any of these towns, but that's how it goes. He was a good bloke. There's people like that out there that will buck the trend, but not in the mainstream parties. Barnaby Joyce, I think, is probably the only real hope for the National Party that I can see. Like joining the Liberals and the Nationals together in Queensland is what's really destroyed our country. So you've taken the Bush's voice and you've given it to Brisbane, essentially, because those politicians that would have been national well, they would have had to speak out for us, but they can't because it's not popular in Brisbane.
Yeah.
And that's sad. It really is, and that's not how it should be.
No, and there's a lot of fucking idiots out there as well that have a voice that shouldn't have a voice.
Oh,
like
massive.
we had the Farm Angels on talking about lots of different stuff that they're doing, and one of the comments was fucking no sympathy for the farmers. They've done it to themselves, and that took me a minute to not reply to, because it's like, yeah, all right, there's too many. This is why we've set up the other show, because it's like there's too many fucking brands here where I go, I'm not gonna disrespect them. I'll keep my opinions, somewhat to myself, and I'll set up a whole new thing that doesn't have any logos behind it, where I can tell people to properly fuck off. But like that sort of the mentality around some of the stuff, and whether it's misinformation or just 30-second sound bites that have been presented in a way that's not really accurate, like there's a lot of people make decisions and thought processes on stuff these days that they're going off cliff notes, no real depth of fact in what they're making their decisions on, and forming their thinking patterns or opinions on.
We've actually had nothing fact-checked or taken down by Facebook over 2 years. So everything that we've put on there, as much as like we've had a lot of people that don't like us, I've got no doubt that they would want to kill me. Like what this is when it falls is massive. This is going to hurt a lot of people. A lot of people probably lose money. People might go to jail. I don't know where it ends because they won't even tell us what they've done.
Yeah, what is the go with that? Isn't there like some freedom of fucking...
Oh, this is the beautiful thing, and I think this is probably about where we snookered them. So the right of information request. So we put one in with the Queensland Resources Department, which was the correspondence between them and the Goondiwindi Regional Council. So about what's going on. We want to know what happened. Who told what? Who changed the purpose of that? Who did these things? And they went through the process, and then we can't give it to you. We're not going to give it to you, and all this. So I put the complaint further up into the government branch, the office, the OIC, Office of the Information Commissioner. Yeah. And then they ended up coming back saying there's no reason that they can't give you this information. So now we're sitting here in purgatory, but it's like I'm presuming whatever's in there mustn't be very nice, or it will lead to something that isn't very nice. Why they've done it and what the reason for, though, it's not our problem. Like we don't care. We just want to be left alone. We want our town back. You guys can figure that one out yourself. Like this isn't our fight to push into that area, but 100%, mate, there's something pretty bad that's going on there. And like what they're doing with the police, what they're doing with the intimidation with the lawyers and stuff, like it's designed to break someone, to make you stop, to make you want to go and hang yourself. That's what they want to do. So to get past that, I presume, is normally a pretty difficult thing for people. Yeah. I don't even know I've done it. I've got no idea. We just wake up every morning, we're like, fuck these guys, let's keep going. What are we going to do today?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope they don't shoot me anyway. But, if they do, they'll be shit at it. There's a shit at everything else they've done, so they'll probably miss.
Well, look, there's, it's a pretty scary time at the moment with, some of the how dedicated idiots can be.
When they're going down, this is the thing, when the blood's in the water, they can see it. They know it's going to get tough and hard. And that's what we sort of knew at the start, is we've got to do everything public. Yeah. Because they don't want to. They want to call meetings and do it in private. They don't want things. Yeah. It's all designed to stop there ever being a thing. They want to isolate it down and destroy it. And we're like, well, you know what? Not on my fucking watch.
No, I agree. And like you said, the idea of this being that it will stop, any of this backdoor dealing happening again.
Oh, mate, it'll be one of the ugliest exposés in the history of Queensland. It's big. It is really, really big. It's really ugly. It made no sense at the start. Yeah. And it still makes no sense now, other than for some kind of fraud or crime to be committed. But like I said, we've got no idea and we don't care. Yeah. We just want our town back and to be left alone. And we think with the information that's out there now, and the admissions from either party, like the state and the council, are trying to blame each other. Yeah, they've tried to put me in there, saying that I know everything about it and all of this stuff, and it's like, but then on the other side they're saying it was confidentiality and we couldn't talk to the community. Going,
How do I know everything
What
if you
he
couldn't
is
talk to me?
doing,
Yeah.
just stop. All they're trying to do is discredit me and make me look like a fool or make me kick off and get arrested or get charged so they can put me out of the thing. To keep my composure and to not snap for such a period of time with what's coming at you has been very remarkable. I don't even know how we done it. I guess when you...
Well, you own a pub, so you got free beer.
Yeah, well,
hey?
mate,
Get to go home and just fucking chug a couple, and that makes a lot of problems go
You ought
away.
to see the feeling when you get that many people come in to your hotel or contact you to tell you that you're a fucking legend, and you're like, oh, please, guys, thank you very much, but there's a lot more people involved in this than me. I'm just the tip of the spear on the face.
Yeah.
But it gives you a lot, I guess, of drive to keep going, because when you're getting those people and they're putting their hopes on you, there's no one else, and you're going, shit, there's a bit on my shoulders here. We've got to keep pushing. And every day this is happening, and it does. It gives you encouragement. It makes you keep going.
Look, there's nothing like a pat on the back. It's like, it sounds like a nothing thing, but it's like when you're in a moment where shit's really starting to weigh on you, that message or phone call or something like that can be enough to go, yeah, fuck yeah, this is why we're doing it.
Yeah, and we've told our team from the start, with Winston Churchill, we said, like, people will never understand. There's never been so much owed by so many to so few as a few that stood up to fight this, and those handful of people in the media and the politicians that have helped us out. Like, so think of Ben Dobbin and Gary Hargraves, for example. Like, they've put out a lot of story. They give us a lot of opportunity to put this all out. And, they've probably copped heat, but they're vindicated too now. Like, it's... what great people to stand up and take that risk for a small town in the middle of nowhere. 30 people we are. 30 people. You thought you could beat 30 people, and all you did was wake up a whole fucking nation. That's what they did.
I just can't get past the fact that you've got a pub in a town with 30 people. Like, you must have a lot of alcoholics to make that work.
No, it's a good farming area. There's heaps of people living out around the area and people dropping through. But obviously, since the war started, there's been a considerable amount of people just want to come out and talk about that.
Yeah.
Which is great. And they tell me their stories from all over the place. Other people are under attack in similar fashions everywhere. And they want to come and tell me their little bit and say, just keep fighting them, don't stop. And
look, and I think the biggest part of that is not the intention of because you look, there's a part of it where you go, I can understand the sympathetic thought process to going, how do we make things right for the Aboriginals that are descendants of people that had atrocities done, and they're still suffering today through lack of ability to get access to XYZ. So I get some parts of it.
But their idea is to then do the same thing to us. So they're going to do exactly what the Aboriginal job's complaining about to 30 people who are white and TOOBEAH. And the legislation actually says we don't even get a say. So in the Aboriginal Land Act in Queensland, only other interested Aboriginal people. So if you're not at the Biggenbull and you're Aboriginal, you can have a chat about this, but the community can't. 100% of the community cannot speak about that thing. And that was okay with every single MP in this country.
Right.
That is how because of race. So TOOBEAH has been given to 5 families that said they lived there in 1920, like our entire shire. That's what they've got it back to.
Right.
5 families. You've just, they want $25 billion. You've just made them, how is there any justification for that to happen? What hurt is that addressing? None. It's just created this whole new pain where you've just done the same thing to us. And I'm sure they like the idea of that, and they might sit up in their little offices in Brisbane and go, oh, look at these people hurting. Oh, it feels good. We're getting some vengeance, for everything that happens. Like, well, that's not what you were saying. You're saying this was all supposed to be a nice thing. But that's non-exclusive native title. When those determinations are made, it's a friendly thing. It's supposed to be. Like, we all share the land. We acknowledge the people that come from here. Yeah. Instead, they've just shown us how non-exclusive native title means eventually it's going to be given away.
Yeah, see that you really, God, I'd love to dig into that a little bit more with the people that are writing all this shit up. Because it's like,
Well, they're not writing it in Australia. It's coming from overseas.
Well, that too.
They use the same words.
Well, yeah, but the people that are trying to use it in Australia.
Oh, yeah.
Because
they won't hold a conversation with you about it. They won't. They've scared shitless of me. When we come at them, when we try and find them and speak, they can't, because they can't justify what they've done. They can't speak about it because they're wrong.
And you find that's more of that's almost like a bureaucratic end of all of that as well. It's not the average everyday Aboriginal person that's sitting at home going, we're going to go and fuck up this town.
They're all just getting screwed like us.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I mean, you're making a lot of noise, so I've been saying this for a while. It's kind of like, to a degree, it's like if something reaches me, it's making noise somewhere because, you know, I tend to live under a bit of a rock. But
I actually have a question.
Yeah.
When you said you're being told that you can access the information, have you actually got it yet?
No, we've been told that the Resources Department has no reason to not give the information.
So
That government branch has looked at the information and said, there's no reason you can't make that public. So we're still in purgatory on that, but obviously we've got Mr. Lister's statement out here now, which, however he's come to make that statement, that's there. I think this is pretty relevant, and it's probably looking like why they don't want to give it up, because it'll be the conversation. And like we said, we don't care. Just talk to us. You know, come and have a yarn to us. We've reached out to the council, to the Premier, to everybody to say there's only one way out of this. And we can bring you guys all back into society. We can fix this together. But you can't do this without acknowledging what's happened here and that it's a bad thing. We don't want retribution. We just want the right precedent for Australia. And that's what we're all fighting for. And every single person out there has said the same thing. Every mum and dad are there fighting for their kids and the future generation and the story that they had before. For us, it's crazy because they're literally going to erase our story in this township, which predates theirs. They threatened the other day they did a cultural burn, which was they're going to burn all of the creek areas and stuff where all our history is. The town was originally on the creek.
Yeah,
but they're just going to erase all that. There's nothing we can do.
Who's threatening that?
The Biggenbull Corporation, the council brought out a grader, put a fire break around the kindergarten. It's all intimidation. It's all designed to make us get angry, make us kick off. These Biggenbull Rangers getting around, they want me to go out and fight them. They'd love that. They want me to do it. Like this is classic. They sent some detectives out last week. It was pretty funny. Anyway, they come out with some just crap about something that we'd said to someone there last year. Anyway, and I was like, well, that was last year. It just was completely redundant what they were trying to say as far as that goes. And then they tried to bring up the cultural burn thing, and they're like, well, you sent this out there as well. And I was like, well, mate, no. Who I sent that to was actually Queensland Police Service, the Premier and the Council, just to let you guys know very clearly that if you do this, you would have to expect that there would be an issue from the community.
Absolutely.
Why on earth would there not be?
Yeah.
Why would you think there wouldn't be? But you're going to do this to intimidate us. So these detectives have come out there and they've tried to wrote me out a fine. They didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
They were nervous as fuck, like writing it out, and they're sort of stuffing it all up. And I think I must have already made what they were doing redundant somewhere in the conversation. Anyway, took his ticket and they're telling me, oh, you're going to have to go get fingerprinted and get your photo taken. I'm just thinking, fuck, this is so degrading, eh? Like, I've got to go to court, do this. Anyway, half an hour later, they rang me up, told me to tear the ticket up.
I was going to say,
I was like, this is crazy. Like, what did you come here for? Just to intimidate me? That's what you're doing. I told them at the time, I was like, you guys realise you're being used to take my free speech away, to silence me. You guys get that. Yeah. So we've worked with the police the whole time. So
I was going to say, because it's not the police. They're doing the jobs.
Yeah, exactly. So every time we ran an operation and we were going to get stuck into some people, not bad. Like, we'll never do anything bad, but the information and the things that you say scares them. They don't want to speak about it. It makes them feel uncomfortable. And we just sort of said to the police before we do everything, we're like, we're going to, we're going to hit these people here. They're not going to like it. They're probably going to feel uncomfortable, not want to speak about it. They've probably never experienced anything like this in their life, like people coming at them in the way we are. Yeah. And I'll just let you know, if anyone's uncomfortable, I give you a call. Happy to stop, mate. I've let you know beforehand what I'm doing. Yeah. And they're like, Michael, yep, we know you got to do what you got to do. Obviously, they support the cause. They want to see you see that result. But yeah, it's just crazy. Like, imagine if they had done that and I'd just gone, oh, fuck it, I'm done. I just went out and fucking hung myself. Like, was that a good result? Were you happy with that?
Well, it's what. Yeah, it's my drama with a lot of it is the behind the closed doors deals, because it's like, again, we have the fucking technology. If the government wants to do something, put it out there. It cannot be that hard.
No, it's pretty easy. So most councils now actually record and have them on the internet, their council meetings, like video record. Yeah. Except ours, and obviously now I can see why. Some of these, when you can see someone's face when they're making the decisions and watch their mannerisms and the conversations in the room, they know themselves that what they say is going to be impactful. But you can also gauge how they're feeling, how their emotions are. Did they want to do this? I watched several of them where other councils agreed to these similar ALA transfer type things, like they were in the process of it. And some of them are going, oh, to this tribe we've never heard of, and just different bits and pieces like that. And you're like, well, why are you supporting this? Like, it's so weak. So I think the state government ultimately, it might well have given incorrect information to these councils, which made them believe there was no other way.
Yeah.
But how stupid of them if a handful of mums and dads could go and find that information and give it to them to say, well, you're wrong.
But this is what I don't get. Even if there wasn't misinformation and even if there wasn't misdirection and backdoor deals, why the fuck are they giving away the land?
Yeah, just weirdness. It's
Like-
we're a precedent. I know that, but the rest of it is just to get it done and get it rolling, because then it steamrolls into everything. So inadvertently, I guess a lot of people have probably got involved in the native title thing and then are just trapped in a system that just went rogue. Like, it might have started off as a genuinely nice concept and then just went completely crazy.
Yeah, there's that.
The other thing with the ALA, which is completely stupid, is generally Aboriginal people don't really end up owning it. So it's normally like a corporation or something that will own the land.
Yeah.
So they never get it anyway.
That's what I mean.
They're just enslaved, and then they'll all fight, though. Those boards or whatever will fight and change, and they'll just keep pissing money up against the wall to get nowhere.
All whilst drawing money off the fucking Australian taxpayer.
Yeah. Like, put that money into education and other stuff to help those people get out of places that just don't have opportunity.
I think with the fucking how much is getting spent on that $3 billion
Over
a year?
30 billion, yeah.
A year.
But that's without the royalties. So all of these corporation stuff are pulling in royalties from everything. Our show probably started out there with the Millmerran power lines and the coal power station. I think some people started kicking up here and there. Right. Anyway, there's a big shit fight, but with a agreement with one of those gas companies there, I don't know, 12 years ago anyway, the Big and Bull Corp, like native title holders at the time, they took a big pool of money to, disperse back around some other tribes or whatever. Anyway, they just kept it all. So they got convicted of fraud for $1 million. There's $1 million still missing. I think it was about 2.3 million. And this was about the same time their original determination went through. So it wasn't sort of in that era, around 2016.
Good Lord.
No, there's no question. There's no recourse, because we're sitting there going, how did this thing even get through in the start? Like, well, it's funny, there's $1 million bucks missing here somewhere. I mean, I'm not saying that was involved in it, but would that not be enough to trigger some kind of investigation where you said, no, that's sweet, it had nothing to do with it? But they're untouchable.
Yeah.
Literally untouchable. Cannot touch, because everyone's scared of lawyers, because their lawyers are funded by the federal government.
But what's the fucking problem with having a conversation? Like, it's one of those things, if you cannot have an open conversation, or they're not willing to have an open conversation, whether that be verbal or opening up your books, whatever the case may be, then it's like, that's a pretty fucking clear indicator that something dodgy's going on.
Well, the Courier Mail put in a right to information request, and it was denied for cultural reasons.
Oh, fuck off.
The best thing, though, with the native title thing is it's all word of mouth. So it's actually there's nothing written down, so it's just oral stories.
Yeah.
So they keep having goes. I think they've had about 8 cracks, the different Big and Bull entities at native title. They've all failed except this one in the 2016 one.
Yeah.
Like, even now they're failing 20 kilometres from where we are. It's like, geez, what's going on there? You just gave them our town, but you're saying over here that they've got no connection. Like, what he's doing?
Yeah.
Stop doing this to our communities.
Well,
I was going to say, because it feels like that your big key at the moment is once you get that information to help that cause take that next step, because it's going to be right there in front of you, laid out, that they have to actually answer to.
Well, there's enough there now that they've got to answer the questions. This is the thing, and it's just
get them to do it.
It's just every day is just bizarre, but inevitably you're going to get there. We can't not win this, because we can't not win this. We have no choice. We have to win it for the whole country.
Yeah.
So I think as we progress through from here, we'll hopefully have some other bigger people that might know what they're actually doing come in and see the precedent that this sets, and hopefully help steer it in a direction that's beneficial to the entire country. That's what we hope for. And the people are out there, and we've spoken to people with the capability to do these things before, but just packaging something and getting through that, like, massive misinformation campaign from the state government and the council.
Yeah.
Now we're sort of through that. We can start to look for that. And The other thing with the agriculture, I don't know if you remember in WA, they went there, they had a lot of trouble there with farms with the cultural stuff. So do build a bridge over his river creek and got in a heap of shit. They took him to court, all sorts of stuff like that. That's this ranger concept, which you can see. So that's now an area. So these guys coming out harassing us, their job inevitably is to do that. So what they'll do is they'll go up the creeks and rivers and old creeks and rivers because they're the song lines and storylines that they'll claim. Yeah. And then they'll find things of interest along there and then they'll create an issue about that, and then that'll just keep compounding. It'll extort farmers, it'll extort the water, it'll extort everything. So it really is in the interest of everybody to knock it on the head because that process would end with TOOBEAH as well. That's how bad this is and how much they've done. Like they've tried to do everything and they've done a shit job of it all. Unwind it backwards, it's all over. It's beautiful.
Yeah, right. Well, fuck. I mean, you're obviously getting this message quite a lot, but I mean, from our side of it, I hope you keep up the fight and you keep pushing with it because it's it sounds like a devastating blow to the dodgy behind closed door deals is gonna at least. God, at least stifle it for now.
No, we're going to end it.
You're going to end it, you reckon?
Yeah. She's all over here now anyway. It's going to change in the whole country in every aspect. And it's just a matter of time. It's all just hanging in the wind there. But at the end of the day, money talks and there's going to be no more money to pay for this stupid shit. So it's all going to have to unwind. And what we can see happening around the world, especially with Trump, like he's going after, NGOs and people that fund them now to go after Antifa and other organisations like that, which is the same thing in Australia. They're the ones doing the protesting. They're the ones intimidating people, getting them scared, making them do these things, funding scare campaigns. Yep. We just got to go after that and destroy it, and it'll happen because everyone thinks they're a bunch of idiots anyway. Look,
absolutely,
you just got to give them the reason to end it. Like,
yeah. I love it. Well, look, fucking, you've obviously got some fire in you, so that's good. You were the right man for it.
They picked the wrong town, eh?
Apparently, yeah. Well, look, I mean, things happen for a reason, so.
Oh, I'm only as good as the people that are behind us, eh? And there's a lot of people behind us, so yeah, they're pushing us forward. I'm just the end of the spear, eh? That's what I've got to do is just keep going, and yeah, it's just lucky it's worked out the way it has, and we've got to here without being shot.
For sure. You're obviously having a good win. I think you're pushing everything in the right direction. I hope it keeps going that way for you, and obviously, like you said, for the rest of Australia as well. Now, if anybody wants to reach out for you, reach out to have a chat about any of the stuff.
Just follow along here and send us a message if you want to talk about anything. And
yeah,
we'll keep pushing. We told them we'd fight them on the beaches, the landing grounds, in the air, wherever they fucking wanted, eh? So,
I love it.
We're into them.
Very cool. Well, look, keep us up to date. I'd love to see how this plays out because I know there's only so much you can say on the socials, but like our chat on the phone the other day was a good eye opener to a couple of them. So
as we work out how to tell this story and all of the bits of it and get it shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and bring it down to something very simple. Yeah. And that's what we've done the whole time, but it's such a complex, stupid thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, as we can deliver that get it into 5 minutes or something, we'll be pretty right.
Yeah.
We just got to wake Australia up and get everyone to understand.
Absolutely. I think, we need to wake Australia up on a lot of topics, but this is definitely a big one too.
Oh, massive. This will be the key. This is the only win that we can have today is this.
Yeah.
And the precedent it sets and the people that it's going to make not real happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's their problem.
That's exactly right. Very cool. All right, my man. Well, I appreciate you coming down. And, we'll. I'm sure we'll hear more of it as it comes out.
Hey, we appreciate the time. TOOBEAH, thanks you for your support.
Absolutely. Our pleasure. Beautiful.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.